So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through a property deal that we found that we could be spending just £5,500 on that could be making us back £1,000 per month in profit. Now this deal is actually a rent to rent deal where we're renting properties from landlords and then we're reletting those properties out night by night on Airbnb and booking.com and run it as a service accommodation. So right now I'm going to be walking you through the property that we found and actually show you just why it would work so well for service accommodation. Also go more in depth when it comes to, the funds and the financials involved, just so you have a much better understanding. So this is the property deal right here we're seeing on the screen. As you can see, it's a 3-bedroom house. This is located in the Milton Keynes area. It's a pretty random area, to be fair. I do know the area quite well, and that's why I decided to go ahead with this area. The rent on this 3-bedroom house right here, as you can see, £1,400 per month. It doesn't really look like much, but these are the types of houses that we actually like to look at as well, because part of how we could sell it to them is that we're going to be giving the property an uplift and doing quite a bit of work to it and making it look pretty much brand new when we take it on. So yeah, this is the full place right here. If we're just going down on the maps, we can see exactly where it is in Milton Keynes, which is pretty much not that far away from the station whatsoever, pretty much walking distance. And of course, you've got the shopping centers and all the hotels around here as well, etc, etc. Now, what we need to do now, the first step, we want to go on AirDNA and actually see what potential there is. So we've typed in the address for this particular property right here, and these are the stats that are showing. As you can see, the projected revenue per year is £34,500. That's per year. Your average occupancy rate is 57% per month, and the average daily rate is £167. Now, what we're going to do, we're also going to be looking at other Airbnb properties in the area just to see or get a better idea of how much they're charging, but this is kind of the average that we're seeing so far. Now, the occupancy rate, what I would say for this, you want to be taking this with a pinch of salt. And the reason why is because this occupancy rate is only a reflection of the properties that are on Airbnb and no other platforms. Now, there is another platform called booking.com, and booking.com is a much bigger platform than Airbnb. In fact, you will realize when you actually take on a service accommodation property and list it on Airbnb and booking.com, the vast majority of your bookings are going to come from booking.com. And that's the same thing with us, with our properties. The vast majority of bookings that we had coming in were from booking.com. I would say 70 to 80% of it was booking.com, 20 to 30% was through Airbnb. And this is the reason why this occupancy rate right here, 57%, we're not going to take it at face value. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be looking at different factors in that area when it comes to what brings people to that area. And this is going to be attractions. This is going to be the companies that are based there. This is going to be the landmarks that are based there, universities, the hotels, etc, etc. Okay, cool. Right now we're going to be jumping on Airbnb just so we're checking out some of the properties in the area and how much they're charging per night. As you can see right here, this is a 3-bed, same property as ours in that same area. This one here is pretty high end, to be fair, but they're charging £274 per night. That is a lot higher than £167 per night that we saw. So there's obviously a lot of people that are charging more, and they're obviously getting bookings for it as well. So that's a very good sign right there. £192 per night. Again, same area, same amount of bedrooms. This shows you that there's room for us to be charging a lot more as well, as long as we're increasing the quality of our properties as well, because these are obviously higher quality properties. So this is another property right here, 253, 3-bedroom house, 119. So this one here is a lot lower. Let's have a look right here, 154. So it's definitely a mixture. You're seeing a mixture of different prices. You're seeing the higher range, you're seeing the lower range, and then you're seeing the prices that are right in the middle. And that's how that average is calculated. But as you can see, there's definitely room for us to be able to increase the nightly rate as long as we're increasing the quality of our property. So now what I'm going to do a little bit more research into the Milton Keynes area just to be able to get an idea of what's really going on over there. So now we're on Wikipedia, and when I scroll down, I actually come across this section right here. And as you can see, it lists over here some of the major corporations that are based in the Milton Keynes area. Right here, you'll see it says Milton Keynes is home to several national and international companies, notably Argos, Domino's Pizza, etc, etc. So we're seeing quite a few major international corporate companies that have headquarters in the Milton Keynes area, which is an extremely good sign because it shows that there is corporate demand in that specific area. So now we've pretty much identified that straight away. The next thing we want to do, we want to see just how many hotels are in this specific area. So what we can do now, we can simply jump on Google, go to the area we're looking at and just check out some of the hotels. As you can see by these little icons right here, these are hotels, and these small little red dots, they're also hotels as well. So as you can see, just in this one area alone, you see quite a few different hotels, different standards as well. You have some hotels that are, lower end, mid ends, and then obviously you have some hotels that are much higher end as well. But the fact that there's this many hotels in this one area, as you can see, even with the small dots, this is a very, very good sign. Because remember, we are in the same game as the hotels. We are in the hospitality industry, and we are looking to cater and accommodate people on a short-term basis. So we are pretty much direct competition for these hotels right here. And if these guys are spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds, setting themselves up in that area, carrying out the research, then we could be piggybacking off that, with the fact that they've already set themselves up, which shows that there's obviously good demand in this area. So now what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to show you a hotel report for this area right here. Now, this hotel report goes extremely in depth when it, talks about the different demand types in an area, what brings people to the area, the different attractions that are there, etc., along with the performances of the hotels in that area too. So this is what it looks like right here. As you can see, a lot of information. Not all areas actually have this available, so you just want to double check that the area you're looking for actually has this available, but some of them definitely do. Now if we scroll down to the page that will show you the occupancy throughout the past couple of years, then you will be able to get a good idea of what has been going on in this specific area. Boom. So this is it right here. So mind you, this was from a little while ago. This is talking about between 2007 to 2017. Obviously 2017 and 2007 was a long time ago, but nonetheless it still gives you an idea of how things were before. And as of now, especially in the Milton Keynes area, it's continuously developing, it's continuously building more things, and more and more people are moving to that area. There's a lot more things happening in that area, and as a result, we can safely assume that this trajectory, or the activities that were taking place before, has only increased right now. So we can definitely still use this to get a very good idea of what's taking place before, and obviously reflect how that could have an impact right now. So as you can see, this is the occupancy rate between 2007 and 2017. Now, simply put, the occupancy rate means how often is a place booked up throughout the month. If it's 50%, then obviously that's 15 days. If it's 100%, that's 30 days or 31 days. Now, the blue graphs, as you can see, or the blue bars on the graph, that represents Milton Keynes. So as you can see, the average that we're seeing from 2013 to 2017 is over 70%. Obviously, before 2013, it was lower than that, just a little bit lower to be fair, unless you get to 2009, which is a lot lower. But after that, you see a steady increase above the 70% mark, which pretty much means, 3 weeks in a month, these places are booked out, which again is a very, very good sign. And again, based on what I told you before about things just growing in this area, more companies moving there, more construction work taking place, more people visiting the area, that's just going to naturally mean that, there's going to be more demand and naturally a higher occupancy. So now we're going to be taking a look at the attractions in this area, which is obviously in this same sheet to be fair. So we found it right here. Now this pretty much gives you a list of the different attractions in this specific area. So as you can see, it's got a safari park in this area, it's got a forest center, it's got a race course, Towchester race course, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's got a museum, it's got another racing circus, that's for like F1s and all these different events that take place as well. It's got a zoo in the area, it's got a national park, it's got another racetrack, and it's got a few things in this specific area that I didn't even know about, that will naturally bring people to that area to stay there for a certain period of time, and as a result, they'd want to book hotels and also service accommodations. So now we can comfortably see for this area right here that it could work very, very well for service accommodation and Airbnbs based on everything we've seen that's taken place in this area and also the reports that we've seen as well. And I'm also very confident that despite what AirDNA has said about the occupancy rate, which was 57%, I know that a lot more can be achieved based on the research that we carried out and based on the fact that, again, AirDNA only takes data from Airbnb and not booking.com. So we need to make sure that we're looking at different data points to allow us to come to, a conclusion as to whether or not an area actually does work well for service accommodation. And remember this as well, the national average occupancy rate for most towns and cities in the UK is around 70%. And obviously Milton Keynes is a major town in the UK that has a lot of things going on. So now we're going to be running through the numbers on the deal itself, how much it's going to cost overall, how much money we're going to be making, just so you have a very, very good idea. And right now I'm going to take you to the deal analyzer. Come and check it out. So we have the deal analyzer right in front of us. As you can see, this is the calculator that we use to, do the number crunching on a deal to see whether or not it's actually a good deal or not. So I'm going to be walking you through this. It looks like there's a lot in here, but I'm going to be explaining it. So on the left-hand side right here, this little box right here, this represents the monthly ongoing costs. So obviously right here, you've got the rent, which is £1,400 a month. You've got the bills for the gas and electric, which we put £150. Now the average nightly rate, we saw it was £167 per night. But we also saw quite a few people in that same area that have the same type of property as us, a 3-bed, that are charging a lot more. So there's definitely room for us to charge a lot more, but I didn't really want to push it. I wanted to be quite conservative with it. So all I did, I made it £170, which is £3 more than what the average was. And of course, over here, you've got the broadband and TV feeds, you've got the council tax, water bills, Netflix, content insurance, if that's something that you're going to be insuring, etc., etc. And of course, we just put £10 here just for a few little toiletries, which brings the total, monthly ongoing costs to £1,831. Now, obviously, you do have cleaning costs as well, but a lot of the times you can charge cleaning costs back to the guests themselves. So now, if we're jumping on this little graph right here on the right hand side, we will be able to see the profits that we'll be able to make from this specific deal. Now, if we're zooming in a little bit, we want to be paying attention to, we mainly want to be paying attention to this specific column right here, which is profit after OTA fees. Now, OTA fees are fees, that Airbnb and Booking.coms and other platforms will be charging you for the bookings that you receive. And obviously this profit right here, as you can see, this would be assuming that all of the bookings you're getting wouldn't be through Airbnb and Booking.com or other platforms, but you would just be getting them directly. So that's why I want to be focusing on this. Now, for this area right here, I am extremely confident that 70% can be achieved based on the research that we've done for this specific area, and also seeing what other people are doing in the area as well. And as you can see, from a 70% occupancy rate for this particular property right here, we could be making £1,200 per month in net profit with this one property right here. So now we know that. Now let's look at the costs involved for actually taking on this particular property right here, which is I've listed down here. So you got the decor, all the decorations of the property. We just put £300 for that. Furniture, we put £2,000 for that. Now look, you can be spending a lot more. You can even spend double that, to be fair, but you want to be quite crafty with it. You want to be quite efficient. Maybe look for some secondhand furniture, etc., etc. So that will help you definitely bring the cost down. You've got kitchen utensils, £100, photography, staging, £120. And of course, you got the rent and you got the deposit right here. And that brings the total amount to just a little over £5,500, as you can see. Now, look, there definitely can be other costs involved, but you want to make sure that you're being as efficient with these deals and saving as much money as possible, and potentially even doing a lot of the refurb work yourself, whether that's painting, whether that's setting the property up, etc., etc. This is what I'd recommend for you to do, especially if you're just getting started off with this. So as you can see, £5,500 for this deal right here that we don't own, but we're going to be profiting £1,200 a month in profit. Now, as I just showed you right now, that deal itself, to take it on, would cost £5,500, and it'll be making us back £1,200 per month in profit, which means within the space of 5 months, we will be getting all of our money back out from the deal that we put in. Now, mind you, these types of deals usually have an agreement for anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So that means after that 5 months, the rest of the money that you make from this property is complete profit. And of course, from there, this is when you can look at, reinvesting back into taking on other property deals and also building and scaling the business further and further. So I just wanted to walk you through this specific deal right here, just so you understand what the research process looks like, the due diligence process, and also how we go about calculating these deals as well. So if you've taken value from this video, I really appreciate if you hit that like button. If you're looking to learn more about this strategy, more in-depth knowledge, then I've got a free masterclass you can check out in the description box below. And of course, if you're looking to learn more about this strategy, hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, I'm gonna let you go, I'm gonna let you do your thing, and I'm catching you in the next one.